mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to Out of Patience. So my guest today is Sophie Sargent. And I guess you could sum today up by what happens when a 25-year-old media badass who built her voice on rejection, resilience, and radical honesty collides with a aging gracefully 50-year-old Gen X cancer survivor who's been, saying healthcare fuckery for way too long. You're going to get this episode. She is pretty amazing. She's not your average influencer. She's going to debunk a lot of Gen Z bullshit that we have perceptions on. She's been dealing with Lyme's disease, amongst many other factors of the invisibility and, hey, but you look great, get over it, walk it off syndromes that are going on in our fabulous society. She's a product of the pandemic era of high school graduates, career chaos, endless hustle culture, hamster wheel. But she's a truth teller. She's a journalist. She's an on-air storyteller, and she's just fantastic. We unpack rejection as currency. We laugh at mental health being like content porn these days, and what it really means to make choices and decisions and be an advocate and own your shit, owning your passion, your purpose, your mad, representing a generation that often gets a bad rap. It was a privilege to have her here in the studio, and spoiler alert, she's way smarter than I was at 25. This is Out of Patience. Stick around. Yeah, I've just been doing this for so damn long. I love doing this.
Yeah.
It's like I landed into this space as they call me the Podfather. Someone made that up and I'm living with it. I'm sticking with it. I own it. I'll
Sure.
take Podfather.
Might as well.
Better than Godfather. That's like 80-year-old man shit.
I guess. I like that, though. Podfather. That's
Yeah.
hilarious. I feel like this reminds me of like a little bit like a radio show, but way cooler because you can just do whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm a talk radio geek from like the 80s. Everyone listened to like old school talk radio back then. That's really where it came from. And we remember the DJs were also talk radio people. Cousin Brucey, Howard Stern, Bubba the Love Sponge.
All of them.
They were real there. Scott and Todd. They just live and grow up with these like Z100, the morning zoo. Like this is what you grew up on, going in the station wagon, going to elementary school every day in the 80s.
Crazy.
But yes, I'm a bit, you can tell. You walked in here. You see the space?
I mean, I love it. It's awesome.
It reeks of me.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Yeah. So shout out to Gigi Robinson for introing us.
She's awesome.
She's super cool.
Yeah.
Listeners, this show will air after my show with Gigi, so if you missed it, just go back a few episodes and check out that episode. But yeah, I'm thrilled to meet you.
I mean, it's hard to beat Gigi, so I guess I have some big shoes to fill.
I always say it's not a contest, but it's kind of a contest.
I mean, a little bit, right?
How do you know her, by the way?
So Gigi actually was in Sports Illustrated swimsuit a couple years ago. And during the process, there's something called Swim Search, where they do all sorts of auditions. You do like a self-tape and then they do a Zoom and whatever. But throughout the process, a lot of the girls will like get together in person and on social media. And Gigi found me through that. And at the time I had a podcast that I was rolling, and she DM'd me, took advantage of the moment and said, hey, would love to be a part of your podcast. And then we literally just never stopped being friends after that.
Like powdered friendship.
I guess, yeah. And then, after that, like every time I was in New York, I would just text her and be like, hey, because obviously she's here and I'm in the Boston area. So it's hard for us to hang out, but we stay in touch. And yeah, I really love her work with chronic illness and everything that she does. She's super cool. And she always just has something random up her sleeve that she'll drag me into, like going to the White House.
Little things like that.
Just very minor. Yep. Not something you do every day, actually.
You a Boston native?
Yeah. No, I'm from New Hampshire.
Oh, wow. Okay. Live free or die.
Live free or die, 603. Yep.
Like a small town. Where you from?
Bedford, which is outside of Manchester, which is like one of our only cities.
I was going to say, like, that's what the one people know.
Mm-hmm. Other than like Portsmouth, which is on the seacoast.
Yeah.
That's a really nice city. Much nicer than Manchester. In Manchester, you're great. But Portsmouth, I enjoy much more.
Did you have like one intersection with one blinking light?
A little more than that,
Okay.
but yeah, it's like a bunch of mill buildings, so it feels very old, historic New England mill yard energy in Manchester. Portsmouth, a little bit of that, but you get the cobblestone streets. You're on the seacoast, so it's a little more homey, I would say.
You become very cosmopolitan. This whole transition, what was that like for you? There's a life outside of New Hampshire.
Yeah, I mean, I'm technically kind of still in New Hampshire because my family's there, but moving sort of outside of Boston has been insane because I spent a lot of my college experience and a lot of my high school experience going to Boston to work. So now being much closer to the city and just being more involved is really great. I mean, my goal is to work through the Boston market as much as possible in my media work, just to get to the top so that I can branch out into like a New York market. But yeah, I mean, I love it. I love Boston and I love how homey it is. And also it's a city, but you're not overwhelmed by the city. You can take a breath. You can park your car on the street and pretty much always find a spot.
I've experienced that.
Yeah. Okay. So you've been to Boston.
Yes, several
What do you
times.
think of Boston?
Now that it's done, is it done?
I mean, I don't know what's going on. Again, I don't know, but live for your
I
die.
remember pre-dig Boston, right? Pre-dig Boston.
Yeah.
That was a horror.
See, I don't really remember that because I was either not born or very young. But I mean, now that everything's underground, it's kind of a nightmare. Traffic's always a nightmare in Boston.
It's a different nightmare. I will claim it's a different nightmare.
Yeah.
It's a slightly better nightmare because it's not unsightly.
And then they added bus lanes, which like made the traffic worse.
Yeah.
So that's not really working. I actually think they're getting rid of some of the bike lanes and the bus lanes.
I heard they're getting rid of bike lanes, like they're backfiring.
Yeah, it's like they thought the idea was there and it was going to work and no one's using them, I guess.
No.
So that's good.
Well, I love the marina. It's a
Yeah,
beautiful
so
district.
beautiful.
They're endlessly building out that area.
The
which
seaport
is gorgeous.
is gorgeous.
It's a great aquarium too.
Great aquarium. Yep.
And the Boston Children's Museum. I went there as a kid. I took my kids there.
Yep.
They love it.
A lot of history in Boston, which
This
is
like
nice.
a CVB ad for Boston.
I mean,
on the show here
suddenly
today.
I'm like, I love Boston. Sponsor me. Yeah, but no, Boston, I think no matter where I go in my career, Boston will always be my home. I've decided in a way. I mean, New Hampshire is great, but like, I love the city of Boston.
And Boston has no choice.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm not giving
You've
it a
decided.
choice.
Exactly.
Yep, exactly.
Tammany Hall be damned. Exactly.
Oh, I love it.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. Faneuil Hall be damned.
yes.
Wrong hall.
It's okay.
I went way back to the 20s with Tammany.
No worries.
That's okay. The
It
robber
happens.
barons. Here we
Listen,
are.
I won't get technical with
That's
you.
okay. That's okay. So you're very prolific. You chose to write. You're of the what do we call the digital age, the digital presence. Like
Yeah.
life before analog. Right. You know nothing other than digital.
I mean, pretty much. I spent a little bit of time playing outside as a kid, but once I got an iPod Touch, that was it.
I
Game
have one over there. See a classic iPod right there on the
Oh,
shelf.
Very good.
My little loser retro mat stuff.
That's like an antique
it's
these
my
days.
Geek Squad up there. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
awesome.
Yeah. How did you start to pivot into what mattered to you? When did you discover what mattered to you?
Yeah, I think I went through two of these. One in my, I guess we could call it selfish career way, and then another in my advocacy, slightly sort of kind of advocacy for Lyme disease. And the first one was in college because I was majoring in, get this, Homeland Security.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that
That was
fun.
really big back in the day.
It's just,
It's still there.
well, it's gone from criminal justice. It's like Homeland Security is the new criminal justice, which was really fun. But I decided that I wasn't going to be the one saving people every day or making emergency management plans. It just wasn't really where my heart was at. And before I even went to college, I kind of knew I wanted to do media, but I was like, you know what? We'll try this government job. We'll just see what happens. And so about, I think the second half of my freshman year of college was COVID. So boom.
Good timing.
Great timing. Everything was changing. It's actually crazy. I remember my professor, my head professor of the Department of Homeland Security at the University of New Hampshire, where I went to school. I remember we were sitting in a class first semester. It was like my first Homeland Security class. He said to us, we are due for an issue. He's like, we're due for an attack. We're due for a sickness. It's just a matter of time. And literally 3 months later, COVID-19 happened.
Wait, so it's his fault?
I'm not saying that. I'm not accusing him of anything. I just thought it was very interesting that he dropped that. And I will never forget that because he dropped that little bomb and I was like, we'll see. And then sure enough, like 2 months later, I could not believe it. But anyway, so
Wait, I want to ask him for some lotto numbers next time.
Okay, I'll hit him up. I think he moved to Australia. I'm not
Okay.
even joking.
Okay. Makes sense to me.
Right? It adds up pretty quickly. But no, so I quickly decided it wasn't for me. I interned with a government agency and I was like, I don't know. So
Wait, what was your Fed cred? You can like flash your card at the airport everywhere, like let me through.
See, I don't know if I can say it now because it's a little.
Okay.
I interned for ICE.
Oh boy. Mm-hmm. Not controversial as of this taping.
Nope. And you know what? Like a lot of what I was doing was office work anyway. So I didn't really go out in the field or do anything. And this was also in like 2021. So it really wasn't anything. It
was a different
crazy.
ICE back then.
Different. Yep. And it was for an internship. I was checking a box, getting the experience to get my degree. And that was kind of that. I wasn't tied by any means or like, I'm going to work for ICE someday.
Yeah.
That wasn't where my heart was.
Said no one.
Literally. So through all of that, I quickly realized that it wasn't going to be a career for me. I said, no, thank you. I don't want anything to do with it. And my heart kind of brought me back to media. So I spent a lot of the COVID pandemic because everyone was forced in their homes to network. I was on social media, sending DMs, being like, hey, I would really love to do some work for you, because it was so easy to almost have an internship because you could do it from the comfort of your couch.
Right.
So I was just offering free work through my classes just to get in with companies. And when all the bans lifted, I started going to events and volunteering my time, and I met a lot of people, which led me to my job with New England Sports Network, where I'm now hosting and reporting on a show called Dirty Water TV. And that was my segue into this, like, what felt like a complete ripple of just like opportunity to opportunity. And now I feel like I've grown such an amazing crew and group of people that I can rely on, ask for things, and also this like network in Boston who will give me opportunities because they saw that I put in the work when I was young. Granted, I'm not really working in news. It's a lifestyle show, but I have done some sports reporting with Nesson as well.
That was my question. Like,
yeah.
If you don't do that in Boston, do they still let you stay there?
I surprisingly, yeah, they do.
Okay.
I mean, I think that it's a very competitive market to get into sports broadcasting, period, let alone in a city like Boston where we have amazing teams. Granted, the Patriots, we can work on that. Same with the Bruins.
But they're New England, though.
I know. Good point.
Downstate here, down, not New England, down England here. We don't consider the Patriots a Boston team. So.
Oh, interesting. So
it's a New England team.
Oh, okay. Not even like a Massachusetts team.
All four of those states up there share the wealth.
Well, I mean, we do. Like, we don't have another team. So, yeah, we do. Yeah. That's totally fair.
Vermont has no, use for it, but it's detached anyway.
Can you imagine Vermont having a football team? Like, my thought would be Maple Leafs, but that's like Toronto, right? That's hockey.
No, it would be the Bernie Sanderses.
Oh my gosh. I can't. Yeah, they would not probably do well with that. Although I could see them having a hockey team.
I can see it the snow. Yeah, you can conflate that, I suppose.
I don't know.
But anyway, that's I gave up on sports when the Mets won in 1986, so I'm kind of a fair weather fan. But I'm aware of what's going on, and the sentiment down here is the Patriots are a New England team, not a Boston team.
Okay, that
the
makes sense.
The Celtics are a Boston team. The Red Sox are a Boston team.
Well, they are playing in Boston, so that would make sense.
Right, but then again, the Jets and the Giants are New York football, but they play in Jersey.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's been a contention of anyone that lives down here. Yeah.
We have to have a talk with them about that. Yeah. So anyway, that was kind of my first like selfish change, if you will, because I decided to pursue media. I ended up graduating with my Homeland Security degree, but then, didn't really pursue it. My second...
You could have learned how to kill a man 9 ways.
I guess. I mean, well, honestly, if it's taught me anything, it's taught me to look for every exit in the room when I walk in.
Yes.
Yes. Which is
360 surround sound.
Yes. It's a great skill, but it's also a terrifying skill because I hate thinking like that. Like, I don't want to be the pessimist in the room who's like, oh, here's all the things and here's where I can hide. And here's like, I don't want to think
It's also
like
knowing
that.
what chair to sit in to get the best optic view of your choices.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's
That's very
terrifying.
mafia driven, that comes from the mafia.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Mafia, do not call me, please.
Yes.
I don't want anything to do with that.
That's not a LinkedIn skill you want.
It is not, and I'm not adding it anytime soon. Yeah, and okay. It's a great thought process. Don't get me wrong, because it's protecting myself, but I don't know. It's just scary. I'd rather not think about those things.
Right.
If I don't have to, I don't want to.
Yeah, but it's renting space in your head for life now. How do you get rid of it?
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. And I also did karate growing up, so self-defense is just like embedded in me, I think, which is good.
Well, that's a good parenting choice. Do you have siblings?
I do, yes. So when my parents actually had me, they weren't married. So it was just me, and then they split and married, and then each had 2 kids. So I have 4 half siblings, 2 of which I see more than the other 2. So I have a brother and a sister on my mom's side, and 2 sisters on my dad's side. And I was definitely the leader as the oldest. And my brother did karate with me for a little bit, but our age gap's pretty big. So he kind of like got on the tail end of it. Like I was getting my black belt and he was kind of just starting. But my brother started at like 3 or 4 because he really wanted to do what I was doing too. So we all kind of have other than my sister, we all kind of have a little bit of a self-defense or kickboxing sort of background. My stepdad is a professional fighter, right? Well, I say professional, but do you know who Calvin Kattar is, the UFC fighter?
I do not know.
Okay, so he actually started his own fighting league. It's called Combat Zone.
As one does.
As one does, casual. Yep, super casual. I don't remember how that originated, but I digress. So he ended up starting this whole thing, and it's in New Hampshire. They hold it. It's like amateur fights. And my stepdad's like 56 years old and he's fighting in a ring and beating people. It's like the most insane thing.
I'm never messing with you or your family.
We are so psycho. Like if you think about it, not only do we fight people, but we're like voodoo-y, like health. When it comes to health and wellness, we're so voodoo magic-y. We love all the natural stuff, earthy, crunchy things. We'll try it. Like it's just so funny. But
your personal merch should be just don't mess with Sophie.
I don't know, I guess. Better to be my friend. I don't know, but
that's pretty crazy.
You make the choice.
So you're working as a non-journalist journalist for this sports, but what's the gist of what you do every day? Like what's a day look like for you?
Every day is so different.
Well, that's good though.
It is. I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way, really. And for a while when I graduated, I was doing morning radio, which was also very fun and
that's very energetic. You got to wake the people up in the cars, right?
It was so energetic.
Yeah.
And at the time I had been just diagnosed with Lyme. So like trying to do that together while treating it, which was killing my energy as well as my sleep because I was up at 4 or 5 a.m. to trying to like wake people up. I mean, I don't know how I did it. I just left the position, but I did it for 2 years and it drained the crap out of me. It was a great job and I loved it, really, truly. I love doing radio, but I like couldn't put my body through the 4 a.m. wake up every day anymore,
right.
Or else I would like pass away simply.
Right. Yeah.
I would just perish at the seams. So again, that was my routine for a while. Now I actually create content for a company called Biohack Yourself, where they talk a lot about health and wellness today, what that looks like, and how we can help people with new innovations and such. And then I also still work for 2 radio stations currently in New Hampshire, but all of that is radio magic. So they're not live.
Okay. Radio magic. Hey, that's podcasting.
That's radio magic. Yeah. It's like, it's podcasting sort of. And
wait, do you have a radio voice that you're not using right now?
It's funny that you ask me that because maybe a little sometimes, but I feel like this is my radio voice in a way. I don't really turn much on if I do, because I like to be as authentic as possible. I don't think people read radio the same as they did in the 80s, the way that you were talking about it. Like, because it's not the only way to digest information and entertainment, people love authenticity and they read the best to that. And sometimes radio isn't authentic because people put on the voice or people make the structure of a show that's like not natural.
Wait, did you learn to speak like weatherman, you know, where they have to emphasize like one word per sentence? Like tonight on the news.
A little. I mean,
in our neighborhood, a fire truck showed
Right. Well, when I would do a traffic report, kind of, I mean, I think we all kind of just accepted the fact that it wouldn't sound natural because you're talking about the roads in ways that you're not normally going to talk about the roads. But I never did weather. So I just kind of spoke as myself.
With the green screen where you don't know where the states are and the cities are.
That would be wild. That'd be like my new fear unlocked.
There's got to be an Instagram channel or some TikTok channel of like misplaced meteorologists pointing in the wrong location constantly.
Yeah. Oh, that would be me probably. Like, oh my gosh, trying to figure that out. Yeah, but I don't have a voice because I want to be as authentic as possible. And maybe this is my voice. Like some people tell me you just talk like you're on the radio all the time.
Well,
I don't know.
Have you been formally media trained, or this is just you because you've been doing this?
No, I'm not formally media trained at all.
You sound it.
Oh, thank you.
You're like a graduate of like non-media training university.
But that shows the importance of experience, I think, because I've thrown myself into all sorts of different things that it's kind of led me to this good or
Well,
bad.
I'll tell you, my poker tells is that you don't say or You don't have
Right.
You have the right level of strategic pausing when you're thinking about something. You pay attention to what you want to say, and it's articulate. Mm-hmm. That's a skill. That's an art. That's a craft that people have to learn. I didn't really ever take lessons. I do a lot of speaking and whatnot, and I've just learned to. I don't say or You it's in your head. It's preternatal. It just comes out, and you have that.
Well, I do say it sometimes. There's no doubt about that.
But if it's strategic, right?
Sure. Yeah. Sure. Give me
Why
that
not?
credit. Yeah, I'd like to think so.
Take the compliment.
I'm taking it. Well, thank you. No, really. And it took a lot of work to get to where I'm at. Obviously, I did some research on the back end, watching YouTube videos of people speaking and what kind of questions to ask and what that looks like, and listening to other radio to see what other people sound like. That way I didn't sound like the dummy new girl that's just fresh on the scene, who got the job just because she's, I don't know, knows somebody or whatever. Like, I wanted to go in there and like look like I know my shit.
Yeah.
And that can be difficult. There's plenty of situations where I've gone into rooms and people have been like, you want this job? Are you serious? Or have said some sort of comment to me that's borderline offensive, about me wanting to work in media so young, fresh graduate, no experience. I mean, the older generation looks at that and they're like laughing in your face, and that's nothing against you sitting across from me.
Hey, I'm not that old.
That is true. It's more of like it's just the understanding that there's always going to be difference in generations and you have to step up and prove yourself. I mean, is it right all the time? I feel like I shouldn't have to always prove myself, but I'm okay with doing it because I'm newer into the media field.
All right, let's take a break.
Okay.
I want to come back and talk about the invisibility of Lyme's and the "but you look great" syndrome.
Yeah.
Shopify's point of sale system helps you sell at every stage of your business. Need a fast and secure way to take payments in person? We've got you covered. How about card readers you can rely on anywhere you sell?
Thanks. Have a good one.
Yep, that too. Want one place to manage all your online and in-person sales? That's kind of our thing. Wherever you sell, businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 a month trial at shopify.com/listen. Shopify.com/listen.
I got the cancer, not the Lyme's. Not a contest, but I want to better understand this notion of invisibility in the immune. It's shit you didn't ask for. No one wants this. Is it the bitch it's laying claim to be?
Lyme has been the most insane curveball that my family has ever received, because I'm not the only one that has Lyme in my family. It's 4 out of 5 of us are officially diagnosed. I would argue probably all 5 of us have it.
Is it hard to be diagnosed?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that.
From what I've noticed, and I'm not a doctor by any means, I will preface that right off the bat. But
you can just kill a man 9 ways with your Fed cred.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Thank you. But like, my family went through so much trying to figure out what was wrong with our health. And my mom, it started with my mom. I was a junior in high school and she was a runner, an intense athlete, like insane athlete, actually. Still holds track records at her high school, believe it or not.
Wow, okay.
She's amazing, but she, at like 40 years old, felt like she was going to have a heart attack. And we have no history of heart issues in our family. We were thinking this is very odd. Long story short, she ends up in the emergency room twice. I'm literally doing like my junior year performance of Mary Poppins, and she leaves like on a stretcher because she thinks that she's about to have a heart attack. So we were like, what is going on? My mom went to see cardiologists, all sorts of doctors. She even took the generic Lyme disease test, which I'm not 100% sure how many variations or versions of tick-borne illness or Lyme it tests for, but I know it's not many, and it doesn't come back accurate often because my mom took it, I think 3 or 4 times before she got an answer of, yes, this is Lyme. So from there, my mom did all this research to find great doctors who specialized in this so that she could get an in-depth test. And the test we all end up using, I think, tests for like 200 tick-borne illness. So it's not just Lyme. It's like
What a lovely
Babesia,
bug.
Bartonella. Oh yeah, it's insanity. There was a guy in Massachusetts that just died from a rare form of a tick-borne illness because doctors couldn't figure out how to help him.
That's crazy.
And he was in the emergency room for like 20 days.
Wow.
It's an insane story because if you get to the root of Lyme, now granted, you don't always see the bullseye. I didn't see a bullseye. My mom didn't see a bullseye. You don't always know to test for it. It's not something that's pushed or, shared. And I don't really care if that's a controversial thing to say because it's the truth. It's not an opinion. It's like,
have you met this show? Say what the hell you want.
Well, listen, I just competed for Miss New Hampshire. So I'm a little like, sometimes I walk on eggshells around things, but it's unfortunate because I think it's causing a lot of health issues for a lot of people. But anyway, back to the question. So my mom officially was diagnosed. She found some doctors and she kind of started treating it with some antibiotics. She was really sick because it like purges when you're treating it. So your symptoms actually get worse.
Oh boy.
Yeah, while you're treating it before it gets better. So it was a lot of like my mom being sick. I mean, she was home, but she was like sick until she finally like made it dormant in her body because it doesn't really leave your body from my understanding. Now, again, not a doctor, but from my understanding, it does not leave your body once you have it, unless you get it like right off the bat. Like you see the bullseye, you take the antibiotics immediately, goodbye. But because we didn't have that experience, it's in us, I think it's forever. And so from there, let's fast forward maybe 2 years. I'm in college, we're on family vacation, and my brother has like an absolute like mental episode. He comes to our family and he's like, I am not okay mentally, like something's really wrong. We test him for Lyme. He has Lyme. My sister has had gut issues her entire life. We test her for Lyme. She has Lyme. So we all have these different symptoms. And I was like, well, shit, like that's 3 out of 5 of us right off the bat. So I might as well test. So I take the test. I have Lyme, Babesia, Bartonella, like a few tick-borne illnesses.
You're the full package.
Oh, I'm the full package. And we all have different symptoms because we all have different types of tick-borne illness, but we all have Lyme. So like Lyme is separate from other tick-borne illness.
And that's the misnomer too.
But yeah, it's
more than just the word.
It's more exactly because Lyme is like a tick-borne illness, but there's so many others that like go unnoticed too, because again, I'm not really sure why it's not taught or there's not more information on it, but yeah.
Well, what's the invisibility part of this?
It's definitely an internal battle. Like for me, my mom and I both had heart issues. My brother, mental health, which you obviously don't see. I mean, he came off as a very happy kid until this diagnosis, really. And same with my sister was a little less, invisible because she was sick a lot of the time. Like food was a really big issue for her. But you don't see the gut issues. You don't see the tired, fatigued person. All of these internal things that affect your everyday life. It's kind of like when people say you never know what somebody's going through, like be kind.
Yes.
And that's a perfect example of it because these sorts of things, and I'm sure there are plenty of other autoimmune disorders or illnesses or mental health problems where the same thing happens. But just because you're not seeing the issue, it doesn't mean it's not there. And for me working in media, like I was saying, those early mornings, man, killed my energy. I remember just like being so so tired beyond belief than I'd ever experienced in my life. And I didn't know what to do about it. I was like, okay, I'll try more sleep. Okay, maybe I'll go to the gym less. I'll sit in the sauna extra longer, but for an extra amount of time. But there was really no way to prove that to other people because also in media, if you take a step back, I think you're kind of lazy because it's such a fast pace, environment to work in that if you're not on your game, and for someone like me, I'm an overachiever. So to not be on my game was weird. Even with the Lyme, I felt like I needed to show up every day and do my job, whether that was radio, whether that was TV, or even just being a sister, being a girlfriend, all of those things, a daughter, those all have energies and responsibilities and things that I want to excel at. So trying to balance could have been really, really tricky.
So what's the stupidest thing someone's told you?
About Lyme or just anything?
Well, anything is like a whole other podcast. like if you ever been vulnerable. I mean, haters on social media, I feel, get over it. You look great. You walk it off.
Yeah. When I first, I'll say this, I interviewed for something. I won't say what. Because
was it the military?
No, it was not the military. I just see a future with this organization, so I won't go crazy in depth. But there was a time where I was presenting my concerns with Lyme disease and chronic illness, but particularly Lyme disease. And I remember there was a panel of about 5 doctors who did not believe in what I was saying. Granted, I think that my facts were maybe they weren't right. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not a doctor. I don't know how many times I need to say that.
You've said that 4 times now.
Exactly. But it's
I believe you. Everyone believes you.
I cannot emphasize that enough, because even though I'm not, the personal experience, I think sort of kind of trumps that in a way. Like, to have something like this happen to you, it's like, well, you can't fight that. And so when I'm explaining a concern or a reason that we need to focus on this a little more, I just thought it was interesting that it was shut down by the doctors I was speaking to. So that was a little, maybe in a way, expected, because of either the lack of research or the complexity of Lyme disease and tick-borne illness. But at the same time, it was a little upsetting, because it's like, why don't you believe in my personal experiences that I'm sharing with you that have happened to not only me, but into my entire family, that has completely affected my siblings and their upbringing and how they describe their normal everyday life and like what that looked like. Like, they didn't have normal childhoods, number 1, because of COVID, but number 2, because they would be homesick for a lot of the year. And so if you're telling me that's not real, well, it is real. Like, so you don't have the right to say that in a way. If my facts are wrong, fine. If I'm not giving you data that's like factually correct, sure. You can penalize me on that.
It's the job of physicians to be Hippocratic and empathetic. And they dismissed you.
Right.
Which, hits me in the gut, because that happens all the time when you're young. And I mean, we're not apples to apples here, but, it's so rare when it happens under 40, and yet it happens under 40, that the likelihood of them having an awareness that this could be something is like, oh, you'll be fine. Here's some aspirin. Here's some, I was given Robitussin for cancer, right?
Jeez.
Didn't work. But that's a real story, because they just didn't believe there was something wrong with me. They're like, oh, you're fine. You probably have like the flu.
I actually think it's really important that you said young too, because it's becoming more of a trend that people are having health issues at a young age. And it's like, there is discrimination against young people, like in the workplace, because Gen Z, and I'll speak on behalf of my generation on this, happy to, we're known as lazy people, which I think is true for a lot of people. I think that's probably accurate. I mean, we had COVID, we can remotely work, which is great, but then there's people like me who are working 20, 30, 40 times harder than all of those other people and making amazing careers. And it ruins it for us. But at the same time, it gives us that kind of advantage because we're known as being lazy. And then when we're not, it's like awesome. But anyway, the reason I said that was because that translates to the health world too. It's like, oh, you're young, whatever. Like, it's not a big deal. It's probably not what you think it is. You'll walk it off. You can take a nap and it'll be fine. So that totally makes sense to me, what you're saying.
Yeah. Yep. So let's get into some of the stuff you've written about.
Okay.
I feel like mental health is just like content porn these days. It used to just be like, just deal with it. And now it's everything. Is mental health. How do you whittle down what matters to you and what you talk about in the space? Because you've talked about vulnerability and rejection. Like, you could say, I got dumped, mental health. No, I'm living with a chronic illness, mental health, right? Where's the balance here?
For sure. Ultimately, it comes down to, I think, the fact that we're all humans, right? Like, and we're all going to experience high and low days. For me, in like my journalism work, or even just my own personal career journey that I've shared on social media, I like to highlight just the humanity of people, because we all have our bad days. We all struggle with things. And I remember when I worked for a football team that Nesson covered, and I was covering the team, I wrote about their mental health and what that looked like, because I think it's important to make those people human. I think we lose sight of all of that with social media, because it's so easy to say, oh, you look ugly in this behind your screen, because you can make your profile whatever you want and you're not actually saying it to people's faces. So in terms of my work, I mean, my goal is to be as vulnerable as possible, show the real side, because that's kind of what I wish I had when I was younger. When I was younger, social media was kind of still finding its way, and I got the fair share of like unrealistic life standards, which we still have obviously on socials, but I would like to make it more of a tool. I think people use it as too much of a comparison, and I'm guilty of that, but making sure that we're using it as a tool for other things. Like social media was an opportunity for me to work in media, in TV or on TV, on radio, and get those opportunities. Without that, I wouldn't have the career that I have. So yeah.
Do you have renting space in your head besides all the other stuff? Any one or two particular interviews you've done that have stood out?
In terms of mental health, I mean,
or anyone like I'm completely unrelated to my story and my cancer. My third guest on this show when I rebooted it after the pandemic was John Tesh. And he's like my hero. I studied his music in college. He was one of many musicians and composers. And I just don't, like, how the hell is John Tesh on my show?
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with this. And I watched Connie on TV, Entertainment Tonight, like 80s boy fanboy stuff. And like, okay, memorable, not cancer, just memorable and fantastic. You have a version of that?
Because I'm still pretty early on in my career, there are some people that I would love to interview that I haven't. I've been pretty lucky to interview the people that I have, though. I work in country radio, so I've interviewed some country artists that I've really, really liked. Pretty small people, but also some really, really great people, too, who are absolutely going to kill it in the next couple of years. So, I mean, I'm trying to think of like one person. I would say my first interview ever was probably my favorite. There is a singer who's kind of like in the pop punk area right now. His name is Knox. He like blew up on TikTok and has made an amazing career for himself. And I remember that interview was important to me because it was my first one and it was somebody giving me a chance. And giving me a chance was so important. And it still is, because again, we talk about how there's that stereotype of young people, they don't work hard. And if I can get these interviews, it's only like a building block to the future. So opening that door was so awesome. And I was also his first radio interview. So it was kind of funny.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because it was like a two-way, like it was like a nice two-way street there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's
it was
pretty
good.
Cool. So I'm going to ask a Gen X question is, how do you deal with haters?
I'm lucky, I don't really get a lot of haters, but if I do, it kind of depends on the comment. Most of the time I'll leave them unless it becomes like super out of hand to the point where it's like, okay, they're commenting on like all of my posts now. And it's suddenly becoming an issue for like my followers, I feel like, because people will stand up for me in my comments, which is amazing. And I'm so grateful for that, but I don't want you to have to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm okay with taking the heat, but if other people are getting involved, like I can't be having that. So for me, it's more of, if it's a one and done, I'll let it live. I'll let them live with the embarrassment and whatever they need to do to process that and whatever they're going through with that comment and why they felt the need to say that to me. But if it's consistent, you're getting blocked and probably reported, because at that point it's spam.
So I want to talk about something we used to call the social footprint of risk. And this was just at the dawn of the internet. And I was running like the largest young adult cancer community, like hundreds of thousands of people. And like we started blogging. That was you know where the word blog came from, by the way?
No.
Web log.
Really?
It's called the web log.
Okay.
Basically a online diary.
Okay.
A web log. Blog.
Got it.
Just fun fact of the day, listeners.
I love it.
You're welcome.
Hey, learning something.
We're going to go home now.
Yes.
Bingo.
Yes.
We're the same person. And like we started to think about, this is before monster.com when you would still fax your resumes out and really have live interviews. And
wow.
And people could then learn to look at what you're posting online. And do you want to let recruiters know or potential people you're going to date or have friendships with know in advance all of this like dumping you're doing for your own personal well-being to share your story? And could you be prejudged by that in advance? Yes. Could they not hire you because you're sick? No, but they don't have to tell you why you weren't hired.
Right.
Is there a version of that today as well?
Yes, in media, I think a little bit, and maybe not directly with like news outlets, but because I don't work with news outlets, so I don't know how that works. But I find that in modeling, where it comes to more of like a self-branding sort of thing, or you're like a content creator where you're making your own sort of mission, or you're sharing what you're passionate about. I mean, if brands don't align with that, they're not going to work with you. So I've kind of found confidence in what I say at this point, because in a way, like, you get what you get. I'm not going to, granted, I'm not out of pocket, I don't think, but I'm going to be respectful to people, but I'm not going to change my values and my thoughts and beliefs to fit under a brand. I would rather find those brands myself, or people who have like-minded thoughts with me. And that's actually kind of why I started working with this company called Biohack Yourself and started making content with them, because it's like the best of both worlds for me. Like, I get to be broadcasting and reporting, but it's things that I'm passionate about, like the facts and all of this new research coming out about health and what we can do to really just like save the future of us and prevent all of these sort of things that we think are inevitable, like Alzheimer's and dementia. It's like truly amazing. So
Well, I was going to ask, like, what's the TLDR on biohacking? Can you put it in a paragraph?
Yes and no. I mean, it's a whole lot of cold plunging. It's a whole lot of like testing your blood. I mean, there's simple ways to do it, and there's more intense.
Biome and
right. It really depends, I think, on probably what makes the most sense for you, because you could spend thousands and thousands of dollars on biohacking, or you can sit in a cold plunge for 3 minutes and like that's biohacking.
Yeah.
So it's really depends on your budget and your time and what you're willing to put into it.
Well, I want to have you back to talk about biohacking, but we're up to the part where the Gen X AI round of the show to close out.
Very fun. And
I asked my ChatGPT, if you were a Netflix series, who were your 3 Gen Z pop culture soulmates that would play you? You don't have to guess. I'm going to give you the answers, then you get to keep the page as a souvenir.
Wow. Okay, great.
Yeah.
This is fun.
You are Jenna Ortega.
Ooh.
Who you mentioned before.
Okay.
Because of your sharp tongue, darker edge, and you don't need approval, and definitely don't need your algorithm. This is chat telling me who you are.
Not the darker edge. That's crazy.
Yes. Emma Chamberlain.
Ooh.
Yeah, you built a brand on being real before real was monetized. Cringe, chaotic, but somehow always in control.
This is amazing.
And I'm going to mispronounce this, but Io Edebiri, who's an actor, introspective, hilarious, and weapon-grade awkward from What We Do in the Shadows. She makes overthinking a power move and turns existential dread into Emmy-worthy content.
Okay, overthinking with the power move. That's pretty much aligning.
So that's what my chat thinks you are, a Netflix series.
You know what? I'll take it.
I think it's a souvenir. Here, take the paper.
I like it. Thank you.
I will autograph it.
Please do. This is hilarious.
How great is that?
Wow.
All right. Sophie Sargent is very well branded. You can find her online at everything Sophie Sargent with an A, S-A-R. Right?
Yes.
S-Sargent.
Sar.
Yeah, no one's ever messed that up on an order.
No, never. Not Sergeant. Sergeant.
All right. You have a website too, sophiesargent.com?
I actually don't.
I'm going to take that back.
Isn't that crazy?
We'll put all the links in the episode show notes. I'm thrilled to meet you. I'm thrilled to have you here. You're welcome back anytime. This has been incredible.
Oh, this was so fun. Thank you for having me.
All right, folks. We'll see you back here next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Out of Patience with Matthew Zachary is a production of Matthew Zachary Worldwide. The executive producer is Matthew Zachary. It is mixed and edited by Kyle Moore. If you like the show, ratings and reviews are always welcome wherever you get your podcasts. If you have guest suggestions or would like to learn more about sponsorship opportunities, email podcast@matthewzachary.com. For more information about Matthew Zachary and Matthew Zachary Worldwide, visit matthewzachary.com.